A few years back, I got to interview you about the Tila Rock, It's Yours, the scratches you did on that and the pattern. I did it for this magazine, Scratch, that you know that you've seen. And I always, and one of the things you mentioned, I think, in the production of it was that Tila Rock was late a lot, and you got to you got to use the studio a lot to like, lay down scratches.
Yeah, well, you know, most like most rappers, you know what I'm saying? You know, like I come from a long line of progressive cats. We dabbled in not only being able to play the music, but we dabbled in the wires, the speakers, the turntables, the felts. You know, we had to juggle a lot of different things. You know, you're talking about a MC, whatever MCs back then. You know, MCs always used to come. Most of the time, they didn't even bring their own microphones. You know what I'm saying? So they'll just come and, you know, just play the star role, get ready to get on the mic or whatever the deal is. So, you know, we have already had a conditioning of being on time, because if you came late, that means the whole party's late. Nobody cared if the MC came late, because the DJ had already been there for a couple hours playing music or whatever the deal is. And, you know, some MCs, you know, whether they came late or not, it didn't really matter, because the DJ had everything under control anyway.
So tell me about the production of that. How did that all come together and eventually get put together? Too?
What of It's Yours?
Yeah.
Well, basically when I had teamed up with Rick Rubin, this is like the before Def Jam situation. I was a DJ at this club called Danceteria, and I used to do a Thursday night party, you know, and that used to be like from like 8 o'clock to like about 3, 4, 5 in the morning. You know, we were marathon DJs. We play all night. And, you know, kind of Rick hooked up with me. We did a couple of little projects together. Then, you know, he said he wanted to start a record label. He wanted me to be a partner, him, you know, with this record label he started. And, you know, I didn't have to have somebody poking and prodding me to get into anything involving with music, whether it's in the studio, whether it's on the turntable, or whether it's just like playing the drums or congas or whatever whatever instrument. Yeah, you didn't have to twist my arm too much. I was down with it. And where It's Yours came up, I kind of like Rick was asking me, oh, you know, I'm trying to get into this. What type of drum machine should I buy? And this and that. Well, I said, you know, there's several out there. There's the LinnDrum. My two favorite is the DMX and the Roland 808, which we had used years previously to make a song called Planet Rock, and a couple other songs where you know, it was like one of those iconic drum machines, which was, you know, not a step program playing, but, you know, you had to program it in step time instead of real time like today. You could tap it across it and put in your own beat. So it was
you could play it, basically.
Yeah. It was a little more difficult because it came with preset beats, and we used to use them at the party. So I kind of hipped him on to the 808, and he loved the sound of it. He bought a DMX, and then, you know, I proceeded to show him how to program and this and that. And when I came in one day, he had this beat, which is the beat that we ended up using partially for It's Yours. And it was okay, you know, it was kind of dismal, and, you know, so we kind of worked on it, put in a couple of rolls here and there, but kept it simple. That's one thing Rick always loved. He didn't like a lot of different, you know, like I'm a drummer. I like the syncopated hi-hat rhythms and this and that. He wanted to keep it simple. If he could have just made it boom, boom, bap, boom, boom, bap, he'd have left it like that. You know what I'm saying? Simpler the better was him. So the beat, It's Yours, it was simplistic, but that was the genius of it, because it was so simple and it was so raw and funky. And also, you know, Rick was one of these people that he used to always love to, like in my car, that was the Aberdeen Proving Ground, because I had a system in my 1979 Chevy Caprice Classic, which was like a club on wheels. And whenever we used to do anything, whether it be a mixtape in the crib or in 5 University Place in the dorm room, or if we went in the studio and just laid down some stuff, it wasn't correct to him. Like me, I was like, nah, the car's not a proving ground. But that was that. He would make a cassette, come downstairs, pop it in the car. If it sounds good in my car, then that was good for him. So, you know, but he had a habit of like making his own tapes when he lived up in Long Island. He'd make like these metal tapes, and the pitch control, I had a pitch control on my receiver in the car.
Wait.
So,
so you could play a little
yeah,
faster.
so you could, like say if you had something that was a little slow, you can
Or the
speed it
tape
up.
was a little
But I just,
slow.
yeah. So I used to, you know, adjust it like I had something that was a little slow or a tape that was recorded a little fast or something like that. I'd slow it down a little bit. He would record it slow on a cassette and then bring it into the car and then turn the pitch all the way down. So we'd be riding down and we'll be listening to this metal music, heavy metal, and it'd be like, because he was fascinated by the tone and the pitch that it made when you slowed it down. The bass increased more, and because, you know, you were slowing the frequencies down and everything like that. That's why It's Yours was kind of unique, because at that time it was like one of the bassiest records in hip hop. We were in Power Play Studios, big shout out to Power Play, and when we recorded it, and most engineers, they like to keep their VU meters,
safe,
regularly in the safe mode, in the safety zone. All of that went out the window when you got a client like Rick Rubin, because it was like, ow!
Yeah.
And the meters actually stayed like this.
And when they played the record, the needle stayed on the record.
Yeah.
Like that was their fear, right?
Yeah.
That it wouldn't master right or something, right?
Yeah. It not only wouldn't master right, it wouldn't press right, and it wouldn't sound right, in the real world. But so for some reason, we had managed to squeeze all of that bass in it, and it worked between the combination of the bass and the scratches. It was like,
the scratch is what we got to talk about.
Yes.
So,